Hello, St. Patrick's. Just a quick word for you. I want to give a preview about our sermon coming up. We are doing these really neat, just high point choices from the lectionary of Old Testament passages. And rather than going through one Old Testament book over a long period of time, we're hitting these high points, these major activities. And what someone once called, I heard say it, I love this, is the idea that they're super texts. They have not only great implications for when they were delivered or when it happened, but also for the rest of Scripture. And this one we're going to be in is in the book of 2 Kings, and it's a story about Elijah. Really the end of Elijah's life. I'm sorry, we've got these loud lawnmower guys. Anyway, and the really neat thing about this is like we get a picture of something that now we take for granted. You see, Elijah was taken up to heaven. You've probably heard the phrase chariots of fire. Well, that's where this comes from, that he is taken up by chariots of fire. And what's fascinating about this is that in the Old Testament, there's very little mention of anybody going up to heaven. It's almost like it's made more clear a little bit in the made more clear in the New Testament than it is in the Old Testament. And yet we get these little glimpses of hope or more deep loving care by God for the saints of his people, for the souls of his people. And so when these chariots of fire come, rather than what normally happens that we read in the Old Testament, that they would go down to the place of the dead when they die, they'd go down to this place called Sheol, that Elijah literally goes up to be with God. And it makes a little bit of sense, but of course, because at the Transfiguration in the Gospels, when Jesus appears and he's transfigured in front of James and Peter and John, we see with Jesus, Moses and Elijah as well. And so you get these little glimpses of an unusual hope that the Lord is almost like revealing over time to his people in salvation history. And so there's a lot surrounding this passage in 2 Kings chapter 2 about the story of Elijah. But that's one part of it that I think is fascinating. That even something as common as this understanding that we're going to be with God when we die was not this foregone conclusion and was not explicitly said. But you have these amazing historical events to kind of give us glimpses to really God's heart and his care for you and me. Pretty fascinating. Anyway, I hope you can enjoy this Sunday. I've never preached on this passage before. I mean, I've seen the movie, Chariots of Fire, totally different thing. And I've read this a couple of times. But I hope you can join us and we'll explore it together. Just a reminder that as we ramp up towards the end of summer, that one of the things that we're encouraging people to do, and I mentioned it this past Sunday, is that we have increasing ways that you can serve and be a part of St. Patrick's. Being a church plant, our leadership structure is not certainly finalized. We don't have like a board of stewards or anything like that, but we have developed and are developing serve teams, which are, if you want to be a part of leadership, this is where you would be a part of it. So if you have questions about that, give any one of us a call or ask us after church, either Chuck or Jake or me, and we're happy to talk to you more about it. Anyway, God bless you all. We're praying for you as usual this week, and we'll see you Sunday.